I didn't know it then, but the day I looked into her eyes would change everything about how I understood love. Before the story begins, if you feel even one emotion while watching, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps me bring more stories that speak to the heart. I met her on a day when my life felt heavy, as if someone had paused me in the middle of a chaotic scene. I was sitting on a quiet park bench after another exhausting, meaningless argument at home. I remember pressing my hands against my face, asking life a question it never seemed eager to answer: what am I even doing anymore? And then, she sat down beside me. Not close, not far. Just enough to pull my attention back from the fog in my mind. She didn't speak at first. She simply held a small book, its pages worn and edges soft like it had lived many lifetimes. When the wind lifted the corner of one page, she gently tucked it back. That tiny gesture, so soft, so deliberate, pulled me out of my own head. I looked at her, and for a moment, it felt like time stepped aside. Her eyes were warm, calm, with a depth that made you want to breathe slower. And in that quiet second, something whispered to me, whatever this is, don't let it go. She noticed me staring and smiled, not awkwardly, but with a kind of understanding that made you feel forgiven for things you haven't even said yet. Rough day, she asked. Her voice felt like a place, not a sound, a safe place. I nodded. She didn't ask details, didn't force conversation. She simply said, sometimes life gets loud at all the wrong moments. Sit with the quiet. It tells you more. And somehow, those words felt like they were written specifically for me. We met again the next day. And the one after that. At first by accident, then by intention. I'd arrive earlier just to see if she'd show up. I'd pretend I didn't notice her approaching, and she'd pretend she didn't know I was waiting. Our conversations weren't dramatic or explosive, they were simple, genuine, honest. She listened without trying to fix me. She spoke without trying to impress me. She smiled without trying to hide anything. For the first time in years, I felt seen, and strangely, I didn't feel afraid of it. But real love, real, deep, life-changing love, never arrives without challenges. I was still carrying the weight of my past, failed relationships, broken promises, the fear of being disappointed again. So when she started becoming important to me, I panicked. What if I wasn't enough? What if she left? What if I made her regret choosing to sit on that bench that day? I began stepping back, missing days, replying late, convincing myself I was protecting both of us from the heartbreak I expected would come. She waited patiently, until one day she didn't. When I reached the park, she wasn't there. For the first time since meeting her, the bench felt painfully empty. The air felt heavier. The world felt louder. And that's when it hit me, I wasn't afraid of losing her. I was afraid because I had already fallen, deeply, quietly, completely, and losing her would break a part of me I couldn't repair. I spent the whole evening searching for the courage to tell her the truth, that her presence had stitched something inside me back together, something I didn't even know was torn. I walked to her home, hesitating at every step, afraid I was too late. She opened the door before I knocked, like she had been standing there, waiting not for me to arrive, but for me to decide. You disappeared, she said softly. No anger. No accusations. Just sadness and patience. I was scared, I admitted. But not of you. Of how much you already mean. I didn't expect it. I didn't look for it. My voice shook. But the day I looked into your eyes, I saw something I haven't seen in years, a future where I'm not just surviving. A future where I'm actually living. She held that silence the way she always did, with grace, with softness. Then she stepped closer, close enough for me to see my reflection in her eyes. Real love, she whispered, doesn't arrive with noise. It doesn't demand attention. It enters quietly, and changes everything before you even realize it. And for the first time in my adult life, I felt love not as a storm, but as peace. From that day on, we built something real, something steady. Not dramatic, not explosive, just honest. We learned each other's fears, respected each other's wounds, and healed in ways we didn't think possible. We laughed more. Worried less. Grew together. And every time I looked into her eyes, that same quiet future greeted me warm, full, gentle. If you're listening to this, take this with you: sometimes the love you're searching for isn't loud. It won't announce itself with fireworks or dramatic moments. Sometimes it's a quiet presence, a soft voice, a simple smile on a park bench. Sometimes it's the person who listens when the world is too loud. And when you find that kind of love, don't run from it. Don't doubt it. Let it in. Because the right love doesn't shake your world apart, it puts all the scattered pieces back where they belong. And if this story touched your heart even a little, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. More stories are coming, stories that stay with you long after you've heard them, just like real love stays long after it arrives quietly.